Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of people want to see a Best Ball Mania draft. A lot of people want to see a Superflex draft. So we'll go ahead. I'll get you both in this live stream. We'll go and get into a Best Ball Mania draft first, and then we'll hop into a Superflex draft right after, just in case somehow you have not seen already. They did launch the Chihuahua Butt Superflex. So over there on Underdog, this is a tournament where you can actually start two quarterbacks. It's a $4 buy-in, $250,000 prize pool with $25,000 to first place, $15,000 for second place, $12,500 for third, all the way down. So the big difference in this tournament is going to be the fact that you actually have that super flex spot. So instead of starting 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and a flex, you start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and a super flex. So yeah, going to be exciting. We'll get into that afterwards. But first, we need to hop into a Best Ball Mania. This is the largest tournament on Underdog, $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool. I'm sure all of y'all know this by now. $3 million for first place. Some crazy regular season prizes as well. Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be super excited to get into it. And yeah, so John says, wrong starting 49ers quarterback in the thumbnail. I agree with you, my friend. To be honest with you, I'm disappointed with the fact that Thomas gave us a thumbnail today of a backup quarterback. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't know. Fantasy Stock Exchange out here. Super happy to see y'all. Thank you so much for stopping by. Michael says, everyone drop a like. Yes, drop a like if you have not done so already. Let's get this going. Jeep Guy out here says, if you're going to use a backup quarterback in your thumbnail, you better choose a better one like Gardner Minshew. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I almost trolled everybody yesterday on Twitter. I love that you bring this up, my friend, because I had this thought to tweet it out, but then I realized, Mason, you already tweet out so many dumb things. You probably should pump the brakes and not really just throw yourself off the cliff on this one. I almost tweeted out, what's the difference between 2022 Brock Purdy and 2020 Gardner Minshew? I almost tweeted it out, and I decided to refrain from it because it would have been, I don't know, it would have been the nail in the coffin. The haters would have had too much ammo against me at that point. But Jefferson goes off of 1. What's interesting is we get pick 5 yet again. This is a draft pick that we had yesterday. Yesterday, I believe at pick 5, we went Stephon Diggs, Saquon Barkley, and then Josh Allen. Let's see what we do in this draft. Not going to be too surprised if it's the same way. We'll see. We'll see. CMC goes, actually, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get Cooper Kupp here at pick 5. Really excited for that to happen. And yeah, this may end up switching some things up because now we're going to be a little less inclined to go Josh Allen, considering the fact that we don't have Stephon Diggs. Kupp, super easy pick for me here. Back-to-back seasons of the wide receiver 1 from a points per game perspective. Obviously, has some red flags, but still, I mean, let's go ahead and Soren says, are you worried about Josh Jacobs holding out? So we actually have some news to get to with Jacobs, with DeAndre Hopkins. Talk about it in just 1 second, but I realize we've not said already, just in case you're watching this and you don't know what's going on, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. This is the same place where we had those pick'em lines that y'all saw in the last video. Just in case you haven't had a chance to see them, here's some Rivals pick'em lines if you want to go through and check these out. I'll show you real quick my favorite line that's here. It's going to be the T. Higgins versus Kadarius Toney receiving touchdowns. Taking the T. Higgins side, not even close. But anyway, this is the same spot where they have these large field best ball tournaments. They're best ball, so no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted over 700 teams and won $150,000 on Underdog last year. And you can go sign up today to get in a draft with us. We're doing this every single day until the season starts with a link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. Use promo code FLOCK and they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get my 2023 fantasy football rankings as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com. But Saram in here at 11. Happy to see you, my man. Long time no see. Going Bijan Robinson out the gate. Robert says, rookie running backs will outperform the best running back in years. So it looks like Robert is in on you, taking Bijan Robinson there, pick 11, my friend. But happy to see all of y'all out. Thank you so much. But the Pound says, another day, another draft. Yes, sir. You know it. You know it better than anybody, my man. And MBF says, what kind of contract would Jacobs need to be happy, you think? be honest with you, I have no freaking idea. Obviously, I can't talk to Josh Jacobs. I can't talk to Josh Jacobs' agent. Now, you would think after my time of promoting Josh Jacobs last season, being his number one fan, that they would give me exclusive access, that they would hook me up. But for whatever reason, the Josh Jacobs camp has not realized my value to them in this negotiating process. So sadly, I can't bring y'all any information that you would not already have with Josh Jacobs. So the report that we have right now is Josh Jacobs could hold out of training camp and into week 1 amid contract negotiations. I don't see why the Raiders wouldn't give him a contract. Unlike Dobbins, I feel like Jacobs has actually earned his contract. So I'm going to expect that they sort this out over the coming months. Maybe you can use this as a tiebreaker and go like Ramondre Stevenson over Josh Jacobs, go Derrick Henry over Josh Jacobs. But if Josh Jacobs begins to slip a considerable amount in these drafts, I'll go ahead and I will draft. I'll draft a ton of them. Kyle says, interesting Waddle at 14. Yeah, so Rom decides to go Bijan Robinson, Jalen Waddle out the gate. Personally, I'm taking Devontae Adams over Jalen Waddle, but I mean, Rom knows what he's doing here. Michael says, Bijan finishing as running back 1. Mark my words. Well, I'll probably lose some money if that happens. But we are going to take Saquon Barkley, very similar to what we did in the draft yesterday. In the draft yesterday, we went Diggs, Barkley, Josh Allen. I know we've said this time and time again, but I don't have a lot of brain power. I don't have a lot of brain capacity. And the little brain power that I have tells me to go Saquon Barkley over Cooper. Tells me to go Saquon Barkley over Derrick Henry, over T. Higgins. Is there a running back in the prime of his career? Is there a running back that has the market share numbers as a pass catcher that we look for, as well as a rusher? We're going to keep it very simple. Another running back that has contract mess that he's dealing with, very similar to Josh Jacobs, when we just said. I feel like we have, in my mind, a strong argument from the Saquon Barkley camp that he should be paid, unlike Dobbins. So I don't know. Jay PC in here at pick 9. Happy to see my man going with Garrett Wilson, JT out the gate. Going to be excited to monitor this, my friend. Jeep Guy says, hit that like. Yes. If you have not done so already, drop a like on this live stream. I'm assuming most people have. I mean, Cliff says 170 likes 7 minutes in. Is that true? Yeah, now it's 180 likes about 8 minutes in. Thank you so much. Y'all are freaking crazy. And yeah, we'll go ahead and we will get another draft going here for y'all after this. Calvin Ridley goes 26. You have Andrews 25. Calvin Ridley 26. We may get a pretty strong option here. This team that's gone with CMC, Derrick Henry out the gate. They go Josh Jacobs. So we're going to go ahead and take Jalen Hurts. This is going to be a team that very few people on Underdog have drafted. So going back to what we were talking about previously, I mean, in general, if you're in Best Ball Mania, like a super large field tournament like this, we want to draft a team that's kind of rare, right? I don't want to have the same team that everybody else has. So if we're looking at this and it's a 677,000 entry tournament, how many teams are going to be able to have Cooper Kupp, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts? If y'all remember, when Best Ball Mania initially launched, Jalen Hurts was going at the 1-2 turn. I don't know. I'm really, really excited about this. But Mark Award coming out with a big-time donation. Thank you so much, my friend. Says, when is it time to stop disrespecting 49ers quarterbacks? Even in Superflex, it seems Purdy is on track to start. Is everyone sleeping on him too much? I will say that the starting quarterback for the 49ers in these drafts is undervalued. I'm not willing at this point to go ahead and say for sure that that guy is going to be Brock Purdy. But I am willing to say the starting quarterback here is undervalued in San Francisco based on the offensive line, based on them having CMC, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. That's partially why I'm going through and taking Trey Lance in as many leagues as I am, just because I'm viewing Trey Lance and saying, okay, well, this is someone that we are looking at that has all the rushing upside in the world plus that phenomenal situation. But I don't know. Joseph coming out says, why are people taking Jacobs so low after such a big season? If he had no contract issues come August, where do you rank him in a full PPR league? So with Jacobs, I honestly think he's kind of ranked appropriately in terms of where the other running backs go. Contract issues or not, and keep in mind, Jacobs, my most drafted player in fantasy last year. Like, he's part of the reason we won $150,000 in these underdog drafts last season. But we have to remember, with Josh Jacobs, this is a running back that's going to be in a piss-poor offense. I know it seems like he's severely undervalued if you're comparing him to like Calvin Ridley going before him. But here he goes about in the same range that I take Saquon Barkley. Do I think that Jacobs should be going over Barkley? No. I think regardless of the contract situations with both these running backs, Barkley's a running back that should be going over Jacobs. So in my mind, if you want to make it an argument for Jacobs to go any higher than this, like the highest argument you could even make is 21 off the board, you know? So I honestly think that he's kind of in the right range. I could be wrong. Okay. But Nolan says this would have been a $1,000 donation if you took Allen over Jalen Hurts. Yeah, so he went through and took Lamb, Devonta Smith out the gate. So he really wanted to go ahead and have a super unique start of CeeDee Lamb, Devonta Smith, as well as Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry I ruined it for you, my friend, but thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us in the live stream. As always, I appreciate you drafting with us, my man. Now, Travis Etienne off the board at 38. Najee Harris goes 36. So this is kind of what we're wanting to see, right? I mean, when we go Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts rounds 2 and 3, we're wanting wide receivers to make it back around to a super interesting choice there. A Burrow, I personally don't like Burrow here at 40. I know pick 9 is in this live stream with us. That was JPZ. Just in my mind, I don't know, man. If I'm taking Burrow on a team that doesn't have Higgins or Chase, I want to be taking Burrow significantly behind ADP. So there have been some drafts where I've said, okay, I think Joe Burrow can have some massive spike weeks with us stacking Tyler Boyd or Irv Smith Jr. and not Higgins or Chase. But those are the drafts I take Joe Burrow like at pick 57 and not pick 40. So that's just me, my friend. That's just me. Obviously, it helps us, you taking Burrow here, when we have Jalen Hurts. But, okay, Terry McLaurin goes. Swing this back around. In general, we're going to be looking for wide receiver. Right now, there are rumors that DeAndre Hopkins is going over to the freaking Panthers. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think of this. Now, let me pull this up as well, because this is pretty funny. Y'all know I am stupid. I have to remind y'all every single live stream how dumb I am. And we had a viral tweet like a month ago at this point that did some numbers. So it did what it was intended to do. But I didn't think it was bad analysis. I thought it was okay. And it looks so bad now. Like, if Hopkins goes over to the Carolina Panthers, I'm going to have to quote tweet this, retweet this, whatever the hell it is, and just kind of laugh at myself. I'll show y'all what we tweeted right now. Sorry, just swing this around. We tweeted, I have bad news for the fans of the Panthers. Led off with the Panthers. Falcons, Bears. DeAndre Hopkins didn't spend 10 years losing in Houston and Arizona to go lose with your team. He's going to a contender. And news today saying that DeAndre Hopkins is going possibly to Carolina. Hopefully that's not the case. I don't know. I mean, it'd be good for Bryce Young, obviously. I mean, I got to actually interview Bryce Young at the NFL Combine, so it's someone I want to root for, but I don't know. Okay. Tobin says, I remember that tweet. I agreed with it. Okay, at least. At the time, I thought it was okay. At the time, I thought it was a good tweet to send out, but clearly it's not looking so hot right now, but that's every single one of my tweets. Okay. No, let's move this over. And we're going to take Kenneth Walker here at 53. When Kenneth Walker was going in the third round of these drafts way back when they first opened, I said I'll take Kenneth Walker if he fell all the way to the mid-fifth. Now that's where he goes, and now I'm going to draft him. Like, I'm fine taking Kenneth Walker here at pick 53. Dobbins goes 55. Ayuk off the board at 56. So Ayuk actually had a higher ADP than Kenneth Walker when we decided to go Kenneth Walker at 53. Joseph says, I like Madison over Walker. So this is something that I actually talked about in the live stream yesterday. So when we're drafting in these underdog tournaments, right, we have to be thinking about the teams that we're also going to be going up against, not just in this 12-team league. Now, it's important to do well in this 12-team league, of course, but this is a tournament that's a $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool. There's 677,000 entrants, and teams were drafted back in April in this, right after the NFL draft. And right after the NFL draft, where was Alexander Madison going? I know quite well because at this point, Alexander Madison was my most drafted, like I said, was my most drafted running back in fantasy. He's no longer now that his ADP has risen. But he was going round 9. So we'd have to go up against a lot of Alexander Madison teams that took him in round 9 if he turns into a true league winner and we get to the fantasy football playoff tournament that way. Whereas if Kenneth Walker was going in round 3 and Kenneth Walker's the guy that turns into the true league winner and we get to the fantasy football playoff tournament, we're going up against a lot of teams that took Kenneth Walker in round 3. So I'm not really going to be going like Alexander Madison over Kenneth Walker, at least not in this tournament. Goddard goes pick 60. Y'all know I'm a big Goddard fan. I mean, I would have been excited to have Dallas Goddard make it to us at 68, 77, especially when we decided to take Jalen Hurts. So now this is going to be a team where we have to go through and probably take DeAndre Swift at pick 77. Okay. And Carson says, Mason, you were smart for drafting Madison early on. I wish I would have done that. I was also drafting, and I still am drafting Trey Lance, and he has done the opposite of Alexander Madison. Madison has skyrocketed up these draft boards, obviously, with Dalvin Cook on the way out in Minnesota. But we were also taking a lot of Trey Lance at the same time. And back then, we were taking Lance in like round 15, and now you can get Lance pretty much in round 18 of these drafts. So we had some good calls. We also had some pretty bad calls, my friend. Jackson Smith and Jigba off the board here at 63. Okay. Damian Pierce goes 64. I don't want to say too much. I actually think Lawrence may make it to us. I don't know how inclined we would be to take Trevor Lawrence, considering the fact that we have no Jags. We have Jalen Hurts, so we'd probably pass on Lawrence. And this team here, where's the team that decided to take Calvin Ridley? Freaking Nolan snipes us on Michael Pittman. Oh, our team would have been beautiful if we had Michael Pittman making it to us. But we'll go Mike Evans here. So we're going to be building around the old wide receivers, right? Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins drafted 2013. Mike Evans drafted 2014. Cooper Kupp drafted 2017. But Kupp stayed so long in school that Cooper Kupp's actually like pushing 30 at this point. So yeah, we're building around these old wide receivers. Okay. Now, Jerry says, Anthony Richardson is my Trey Lance. It's kind of the thought process. I mean, in my mind, Anthony Richardson and Trey Lance are the perfect guys to compare next to each other because both of them are more valuable in fantasy football than they will be in the NFL, given the rushing upside that they have. And neither of them, we know the actual talent level of the individual player. Both of them, we think, could be good, but we don't know. Carson says Richardson's such a question mark. The thing is, though, if he's starting, he's going to score fantasy football points just given his rushing upside. Like, that's the thing. Anthony Richardson and Trey Lance, they can be bad at football, but they can still be great in fantasy given the rushing upside they provide. We're going to go DeAndre Swift. Not a big Swift guy, but we have Jalen Hurts. We want a pass catcher in this Philadelphia Eagles offense. I don't necessarily think that Jalen Hurts and DeAndre Swift correlate great together it's better than nothing. I mean, obviously, I'd have preferred having Dallas Goedert and make it back around to us. Like, Dallas Goedert pick 77, I'd be a lot more excited about this team. I mean, I'm still fine with it, but. And let me know also, I don't know if y'all can tell, but we actually made the screen a little smaller that actually has my face on it so you can see more of the overall draft board. Do y'all like that it's like a smaller screen of my face and a little more out of the way? But Nolan says, my first ever 6 wide receiver build. Wild. I think it makes sense, though. I mean, considering the values that you got these individual guys, I mean, really, maybe the only thing you can make an argument to pivot off of is go running back over Godwin. But outside of that, I think it makes sense to go Pittman there at 67. Makes sense to go Gabe Davis at 78. Okay. Looks like everybody likes it. Hey, Hung says, but your face is the moneymaker. I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. But that is why we decided to not cut into that. We're not removing that. Okay. But now we have Watson here going to pick 83. So, I mean, just in general, quarterbacks going probably pretty good for us when we have Jalen Hurts. If we're looking at other potential stacks, we could go Stafford very late. We could go Daniel Jones, pair up with Saquon Barkley. We could go, I mean, Baker Mayfield round 18. I honestly don't hate it. Going like QB round 17, 18 and going with the 3 quarterback build even while having Jalen Hurts. But if we were going to go with the 3 quarterback build in that way, we'd really have to wait until like the last 3 rounds to take our next 2 quarterbacks. Okay. Let's go through. Now, Njoku goes off the board 85. Early for David Njoku there. Yeah, that team at 12 kind of going rogue. They're no regard for ADP going and getting their guys, which is what I love to see. I mean, I'm drafting over 700 teams, so of course I have to go through and consider ADP pretty much with every single pick, but. Okay, let's move this over to the house says, in a 16-team 2-quarterback dynasty, can I get a rookie quarterback keeper breakdown beyond Young, Stroud, Richardson at some point? So if you don't know, if you're playing in a 16-team 2-quarterback league, it is impossible to get quarterbacks. A lot of people think that a 12-team Superflex league is comparable to a 16-team Superflex league. Wildly different. If you don't have a quarterback, you're never going to be able to get one. And if nobody's going to trade you one, they just are non-existent on the market. And you really can't compete unless you have 2 guys that you can look at. I would say in this year's draft class, really the only quarterback that's worth looking at outside of Young, Stroud, Richardson, in my mind, is going to be Levis. Because the thing with Levis is he's probably bad, right? But if he were to start from a real-life perspective, he does give you some rushing upside. So, yeah, I'd say it's the only thing that matters. Jeep Guy says, need a dog cam for maximum views. I think you're right about that, my friend. So, I'll set it up. The issue is the dogs, God knows where. God knows what she's doing. Probably, realistically speaking, I know where she is. She's either napping on the couch or napping on my bed. There's nothing, no other options. But we are going to take Elijah Moore. I mean, we'll get a running back that we like on the way back around at 101. So, I mean, not too much to discuss. I like the team. I think it's a well-balanced team. And, yeah, not too much I would change if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I would really like some other values making it to us. Like if we could have had, say, Michael Pittman making it to pick 68, that would have been really exciting. But outside of that, if we could have had Dallas Goedert making it to the 7th, but this isn't stuff we can control. Out of everything that we can control in this draft, I feel like we actually did a decent job. Okay. And real quick, just in case you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like in the live stream. It looks like we are 8 likes away from hitting 300 likes in the stream. And if we hit 350 likes in this live stream, we'll fire up another underdog draft after this one. The next one we'll do will most likely be a Superflex draft if you're wanting to get in a Superflex draft with us. And of course, if you are not already on Underdog, we're literally drafting here every single day. You can always go sign up, use promo code FLOCK. They'll match first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Get our 2023 fantasy football rankings as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And I'm going to rush to look at this real quick. I want to see the projections that they actually have for some of these options on the board So these are the player props on Underdog. You just really want to see. Okay, Evan Engram, 625. Do they have Zach Charbonnet up? No, they don't have Zach Charbonnet up. Okay, Evan Engram, did we say 625? Oh my gosh. We'll take Engram. I don't know. Maybe we should have just gone ahead and pulled it. I mean, taking a running back there. We'll see who makes it back around to us. Maybe we can use the cop-out saying in a lot of these drafts, Evan Engram has gone round 7, round 8, like if you're looking at earlier Best Ball Mania teams. So maybe it's a little bit unique. Joseph says, I was actually suggesting Engram the round before, so I was dead wrong. NBF says Jags offense will be sick. I like the pick. Okay, so it looks like people like Evan Engram there, 101. I mean, Zach Charbonnet was best running back available. We have Kenneth Walker, so I'm not dying to draft Zach Charbonnet here. Like, I'll take both running backs in that same backfield if we're going to get them at a severe discount. But I don't know. Dominic says Engram should have some spike weeks. Rex says he's an Engram fan. Yeah, obviously, Evan Engram had some massive spike weeks last season. And if Evan Engram just repeats what he did last year, this season, I'm ecstatic about the pick. But the issue is, this next season, you have Calvin Ridley in Jacksonville. So you're not going to see them rely on Evan Engram as much as a pass catcher, at least what I'm thinking. Of course, I could be wrong. Jordan says, great Dynasty video today. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, and real quick, this is just for me to know how many people watching this right now know that we have a Dynasty channel versus don't. So if you don't know that what our Dynasty channel is, that we even have one in the first place, say no. If you know that we have one, say yes. So spam the chat. I really want to see if y'all know or not. So do you know that we have a Dynasty Fantasy Football channel? Yes or no? Please let me know in the live chat. Okay. So let's look at this. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So it looks like it's about, I would say 80% yes, 20% no, maybe 85. Okay, so there are people who don't know that we have a Dynasty channel. Okay, just in case you don't know, if you play Dynasty Fantasy Football, if you're in a keeper league, if you're just interested in hearing more like long-term perspective, I actually started out on YouTube with just exclusively Dynasty Fantasy Football. And our channel is the Dynasty Football Flock. If you play Dynasty, it's the largest Dynasty channel on YouTube. So I'm assuming if you play Dynasty, you already know about it. Okay, let's move this over. So Penny goes. We'll take Lazard. I mean, we'll get him a little bit past ADP. We'll get another running back on the way back around. I really don't know what to do. We can set ourselves up with a potential Aaron Rodgers pick if we really want. Okay. So Khalil Herbert off the board, 117. Tony says 700 drafts, VMix and Stream Deck. For the love of God, Mason, save yourself. What is VMix and Stream Deck? Let me know, my friend. Let me know. Okay. So Myers Dart. Now we're going to... Oh, shoot. I shouldn't have said it. Yeah, we're definitely going to take Zay Jones here. So once we take Evan Engram, Zay Jones is going to be an easy selection at 125. So here we can get correlation and say a couple different things. One, this may work out just if in general you actually have the Jacksonville Jaguars offense being better than people are expecting this next season. But on top of this, this may work out if you see an injury to like Calvin Ridley, right? Or I mean, just say Calvin Ridley isn't good anymore, or Christian Kirk gets injured. There are a multitude of different events that could occur that help both Evan Engram and Zay Jones hit at the same time. So going ahead and getting Zay Jones here at 125 to pair up with Evan Engram, I actually really like that. Really like that. Okay. So let's move this down. Rondale Moore, Michael Gallup, Jamal Williams. Dominic says, can you briefly summarize why Dynasty is better than the redraft? I mean, it really just is your personal preference, right? And I hate to admit this because I would have never thought it would be the case. The more of these underdog drafts that I do, I think best ball is almost better than any form of fantasy. At least in my mind. And of course, I'm very biased. I won a life-changing amount of money on Underdog last year. So probably if I didn't do that, maybe I'd have a different opinion. But if I was like telling someone how to have the most fun with fantasy football, and you would have asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have told them, man, you got to be in like 10 redraft leagues and like 20 dynasty leagues. You're going to love it, blah, blah, blah. If you would ask me this question today, I would say pick one redraft team with your buddies from high school or buddies from college or your friends and family, your office league, whatever it is, the league that you're really going to care about and have a lot of fun in. Pick like one dynasty league that you're really going to care about and going to have a lot of fun in. That way you have like the most pressure on those two leagues and like the most amount of sweat there, and you can spend all your attention there during the season. And then if you have any more fantasy football itch, just hop into these underdog drafts. At least that's what I would say. I would say definitely need your redraft league, definitely need your dynasty league. But I used to think being in as many of those leagues as possible, like adding more dynasty leagues equals more fun. Like I played in like 20 plus dynasty leagues starting in 2014 till now, you know, like, but like I didn't add in any new dynasty leagues this offseason. I don't think I'll add in any new dynasty leagues like going forward, or honestly redraft leagues for that matter. I think I'm just going to keep with the ones that I really, really like. And then any new leagues I want to add in, I'm just going to make it best ball so I can focus in on the ones that I really like. Okay. So Jonathan Mingo off the board at 136. Obviously, with the news of Hopkins possibly going over to Carolina, it makes Jonathan Mingo a little less appealing. Greg Dulcich goes 137. So we're going to be going with 5 running backs here since we have Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift. I'm going to take Dalton Schultz over Kendre Miller because if we go Dalton Schultz as well as Evan Engram, I'm actually pretty confident in only taking 2 tight ends. So this gives us a little flexibility. If we wanted to grab another tight end around like 17, 18, I think we can. But also if we just wanted to go ahead and go with like 2 quarterbacks around 17 and 18, I think we can do that as well. There's pretty much, I think it gives us a lot of flexibility on what we're doing with the roster construction. If we take Dalton Schultz here, whereas if we take Kendre Miller, I don't necessarily think it does anything for us from a roster construction perspective. Okay. So let's move this down. So we are pick 3 for everybody who's just now coming in here. I'm sorry, we're not pick 3. I'm stupid. We're pick 5. Now, Rashee Rice finally goes at 144. It's the team that has Patrick Mahomes. So you have Mahomes getting Rice, making it all the way back around you at 144. Should be very excited about that. I mean, in my mind, Rice is one of the best values that you're going to have this year. Like the fact that he goes after Marvin Mims and Jonathan Mingo, it's kind of crazy. Okay. So let's move this back around. Okay. Has there been any news with Roschon Johnson? Let me know, because I have noticed Roschon falling a considerable amount. I'm going to search on Twitter real quick while I wait for y'all to let me know in the chat. Okay. I don't see y'all telling me anything. Okay, yeah. I think we're probably just going to go ahead and take Roschon here. Now, I think you can make a strong argument that maybe Tyler Algier has a higher ceiling than Roschon Johnson if you were to have an injury to Bijan Robinson. But the primary reason I think we want to go Roschon over Tyler Algier is Roschon Johnson could win the starting job without an injury, right? Like there's an outside chance that Roschon Johnson is just straight up the starter. Yes. Starter over Khalil Herbert. Now, the probability that Tyler Algier just starts over Bijan Robinson is 0%. So we'll take him here at 149. There's a lot of uncertainty. You don't really know what the Chicago Bears backfield is going to be like, but let's move this over. Higbee goes 151. Algier does make it to 152. Tone says, I got you, my man. I used to do that a while ago. Is it annoying for y'all if you see me dragging my face across the screen like that? If it's annoying for y'all, I'll try to switch it, but I don't know. I mean, it doesn't bother me doing it, and it's kind of the easiest. Gucci Broomstick says, have you bought the jerseys of the rookies you interviewed yet? So I went through and I actually ordered like a shadow box, like a better jersey frame than I previously had for the all the old jerseys that I have. It got here and I'm trying to figure out if it's the right one. Essentially, I want to learn how to frame a jersey and make it actually look good, but not like a giant jersey frame, right? Just like a small one where you just see their number and their name so I can put a lot of them. So I'm trying to get that sorted, and once I do, I'm going to start ordering those jerseys. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the feedback, guys. Okay. Now, Darius Slayton goes off the board here, 156. So there's not too much to discuss at this point. So big thing is Stafford makes it back to us. Obviously, we like that, having Cooper Kupp. It's not the end of the world if Stafford does not make it back to us. Kyler Murray does go off the board, 158. Gerald Everett goes 159. Dominic says, Mason, do you have a favorite NFL player? Obviously, I have guys that I'm rooting for more than anybody else. I'd say going into last year, Josh Jacobs, I was rooting for more than anybody else because I kind of went through and talked about Jacobs in every single video, drafted him on pretty much every single team. So obviously, Jacobs was who we were rooting for. This year, clearly Lance is who I'm going to be rooting for because I've taken Trey Lance on a ton of different teams. On top of this, I've talked a lot about Trey Lance, so it'd be good for us if Lance does well. Now, I don't necessarily want to say Lance is my favorite player, right? If I had to go to my favorite players, I would say I don't really have any in the NFL today. I definitely have guys that are very sentimental for me. And if I can figure out how to hang these jerseys and make them look good on the wall, y'all see. I mean, if y'all remember back in the day, we used to have the Amari Cooper Raiders jersey, the Odell Beckham Jr. Giants jersey, and the Sammy Watkins Bills jersey. In general, the reason I had those jerseys is I fell in love with Dynasty Fantasy Football. And I'd say overall fantasy football back in 2014. I started playing fantasy football back in 2010, but it was just in a casual league, right? I mean, I sweat it, but I really didn't take it too serious. 2014 is when I started playing in a ton of dynasty leagues and doing it 365 days a year, and when I really fell in love. So in that 2014 time period, I pretty much love all the exciting rookies from that time, right? So Odell Beckham Jr., 2014 draft class, blows up, obviously, year one. Sammy Watkins, one of the best wide receiver prospects ever in that 2014 draft class. Amari Cooper in the 2015 class, one of the best wide receiver prospects ever. So if I had to pick a favorite player, I know it's a little bit of a weird answer, but I would probably pick 2014, 2015 Sammy Watkins, just because like kind of marks when I fell in love, and I'm talking like fell in love with Dynasty fantasy football and just like let it kind of start consuming my life. But yeah, keep in mind, I don't have a favorite NFL team, as I've said a million times, so it's probably like very different for y'all. I'm assuming that a lot of your favorite players are like the guys on your favorite team. Like if you're a Cowboys fan, I'm assuming like maybe Dak Prescott's your favorite player. If you're a little bit of an older Cowboys fan, maybe Tony Romo's your favorite player, you know, and just an example, but okay. Now let's move this over. Elixir says, Young Hoku, yes. Back whenever we started live streaming every single day in 2020, that's when Young Hoku just went off for everybody. Seren says, week 1 of any season, Sammy Watkins. Yes. Sad that I'm not able to draft Sammy Watkins this year. Somehow I've let Sammy Watkins lose me money every single season for the past almost 10 years. And this will be the first year that I can't really let Sammy Watkins lose me any money. So it's a little disappointing. Okay. Jordan says, will Baby Flock Jr. come if you win Best Ball? If I win $3 million at Best Ball Mania, here's what's on the bucket list. Here's what we're doing. If we win $3 million at Best Ball Mania, we're getting a lake house. We're getting a boat. Probably a little Baby Flock Jr., hopefully. But step 1 to that process is win Best Ball Mania and win $3 million. We'll figure it out everything after. Now, Curtis Samuel, Tim Patrick go off the board here, 179, 180. Let's swing this around. So we still need another running back. Our running backs are Saquon, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson. Wide receiver, Kupp, Hopkins, Evans, Elijah Moore, Allen Lazard, Zay Jones, Tyquan Thornton. Tight end, Evan Engram, Dalton Schultz. So the correlation we have with this team is we have Jalen Hurts paired up with DeAndre Swift. We have Matthew Stafford paired up with Cooper Kupp. We have Zay Jones paired up with Evan Engram, and not much beyond that. I feel like this is a kind of, I don't want to say a boring team, but a team where we just kind of grab some values, constructed it the way we wanted in terms of the overall roster positions, but okay. Tesla says, we got to get a lake house meetup if you win Best Ball Mania. Yes. If we win Best Ball Mania, how about this? If I win Best Ball Mania, and you can clip this, and win $3 million with it, and I can find a lake house that I can afford. I'm sure I would be able to if we had $3 million. Obviously, you have to pay taxes, but if that falls in line, I don't know if we can make it open to the public to have a flock meetup, but we'll definitely do a giveaway on the channel. Invite some people, and if we can afford it, bring them to the lake house and the boat. But yes, Fantasyland football will be there. Fantasyland football will definitely be there. Okay. Yeah. Margaret Word says, smash the like button. Y'all got to get some Superflex. And yeah, we will get a Superflex draft going right after this one. So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. And if you want to get in our Superflex draft, we're about to do it right after this. And yeah, we're going to do this literally every single day until the season starts. So if somehow you're not already on Underdog, whether or not you want to get in a draft, whether or not you want to check out any of those player props that we were looking at earlier, link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get my 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And I'll go through and say as well, I don't want to put a little asterisk in saying if we can afford it. If we win the $3 million and we can't find a lake house that we want or a boat that we want, I will get an Airbnb and we'll have a flock meet up there. All right. So the lake will be a plan no matter what if we win Best Ball Mania and win the $3 million. Hopefully plan A is we can afford to get it on our own and buy the damn thing. Plan B will be we get an Airbnb. Either way, good plan. Good plan. Okay. Mark Ward says at Best Ball Mania, if we win Best Ball Mania 4, he can finally pay his mods. I don't know if that'll be in the budget, my friend. I don't know if that'll be in the budget. I'll have to run it by the accountant, but yeah, I think the accountant said we're running dry on that front. Okay. McCole Hardman off the board. I don't know what to do. And when you don't know what to do, you probably just take Kareem Hunt. We need another running back. Maybe Hunt signs. I don't know. I mean, I would assume that Kareem Hunt is on a roster this next season, right? I would assume. Now, of course, I have made the assumption in years past that Will Fuller would be on an NFL roster, and he was not, and we were devastated. So this could be Will Fuller all over again. That is 100% a possibility. But if Kareem Hunt is signed to a roster, I'd imagine that he's probably a better pick than Gus Edwards, Ty Chandler, Pierre Strong, Kenneth Walker. Leonard Fournette obviously is kind of in the same boat, but Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, Chuba Hubbard, I'd imagine Hunt's a better option than those. Okay. Now, let's hop into another draft. This is going to be the Chihuahua Butt Superflex. So just in case you haven't seen this one before, it is a $4 buy-in, $250,000 prize pool, 70,000 entrants. First place, 25,000. Second place, 15,000. Third place, 12,500. Fourth place, 10,000, all the way down the line. And we will try to win this one as well. So how about this? We win the first one. We win Best Ball Mania in the $3 million. We get the lake house with that and the boat with that. We win the Chihuahua but Superflex and get the 25,000 there, and we get hooked up with some jet skis with the 25,000. Now, of course, I have no idea how much a jet ski is. I'm assuming you can buy one with 25. Let me look this up. Okay. How much is a jet ski? Oh, okay. We can get a ton of jet skis here. Okay. Start from 6,000 and go up to 20,000. Yeah, we're not going high ends. I'm cheap by nature. We're probably not going to go the lowest end either. We can assume a jet ski will probably run us what, 10,000? Yeah, we'll assume a jet ski runs us about 10,000. We can definitely get at least one jet ski. Minimum. Okay. But yeah, we are going to be in here at 8. Clutch Cow, happy to see you out, my friend, is in here at 12. Versailles is in here at 3. Logan is in here at pick 6. Going to be happy to crush y'all, guys. Going to be happy. All right. Now let's move this over. Mr. Padilla says rent the jet skis way cheaper. If we don't win Best Ball Mania, you better believe we'll be about that rental life. Now, we win Best Ball Mania, I'm going to have to, I can't rent it because we're going to have to put the Underdog logo and the Flock logo on the jet ski. So, be a little different. Okay. Now, Bean Salad says, when I win Best Ball Mania, I'll buy a lake house for the Flock. That is kind of you, my friend. How about this? When you win Best Ball Mania, you can get the Flock an Airbnb lake house for our next meetup. Compromise. Jordan says, what did you major at Texas and why? So I actually have 2 degrees from Texas. I have a degree in biology and a degree in exercise science because I didn't know if I wanted to go to medical school, physical therapy school. So I just got both, and we blew up on YouTube and did neither. So, yeah. Should have known with these good looks that I'd always been a celebrity rather than a doctor. Who the hell am I kidding? Okay. Now we have Lamar, Allen, Burrow all off the board. So let's essentially just see if we get a quarterback, right? Okay. Herbert goes, I'll take Jefferson and try to make it work. I don't think I've ever had an underdog superflex draft, at least this year, where I didn't go quarterback round 1. So let's see how it goes, right? I don't know if it's going to go well, but we can try. In general, I don't like it. In general, I don't. Okay. Well, we'll see. Joseph said, I did a 0 quarterback build the other night, waiting until the 6th round to get 4 starters. Maybe we try to go 0 quarterback with a Superflex draft. Could be interesting. Crap. We maybe autoed our Best Ball Mania pick. Come on. Load. Okay, did we auto? Yes, we autoed. Who did we auto? Was anybody in the Best Ball Mania draft with us? Could let us know who we autoed. Oh, I've done 218 drafts this year, if anybody's wondering. Post NFL draft. I'm not including the ones before. We got Sam Howell for no apparent reason. I don't hate it, but gross. Yeah, we autoed Sam Howell. Usually I have my phone in here, so when we bounce from one draft to the other, I can just draft on my phone. But when we take Jefferson, I feel like we're a little lucky to get Dak Prescott on the way back around at 17. So we'll take Dak Prescott here at 17. The real question is, would you rather have Lawrence and Diggs or Jefferson and Dak? I think it's close. I think you make an argument for either or. NFL Blitz in this draft. Hell yes, my man. In there at 2. Very rarely you're going to see Mahomes go behind Hurts. But, I actually have Jalen Hurts ranked as the quarterback 1 in drafts this year. Let me see if the pick'em lines could help us out a little bit with that decision. In terms of just what Underdog is projecting. So these are the pick'em lines on Underdog. Dak right now is projected for 4,000 passing yards. Trevor Lawrence is at fewer than Dak Prescott. Trevor Lawrence is at about 3,900. But keep in mind, Lawrence has a little more rushing upside. I do think that Lawrence should go ahead of Dak in these drafts. But it does look like they're in a comparable range. Jefferson, they have at 1,400 receiving yards. And Diggs, they have at 1,200. So yeah, I'd say if you're looking at those player props on Underdog and using them as like pseudo projections, maybe they would be on the side of going through and taking Jefferson then Dak rather than Lawrence and Diggs. But, okay, let's move this over. Rex says, the Dak hype is still so crazy to me. Where do you think Dak Prescott should be drafted? Let me know. Do y'all think Dak Prescott's going too high here? In general, I actually think that Dak Prescott as like a high-end quarterback too is a decent value considering the passing volume that we saw 2 years ago and the year prior. Okay. Now, CeeDee Lamb goes 24. Garrett Wilson off the board at 25. Soren says, every single Superflex, I've been on the second half of the draft board, and I hate it. I'd hate it as well, my friend. Jalen says, the Dak hate is crazy to me. Rex says, not so much in terms of your pick, just in general being projected to have more passing yards than Lawrence. Okay, so more so with the player props there. Okay, so that team at 3 takes Allen Richardson, Daniel Jones out the gate. Not going to argue with them at all. I think Daniel Jones round 3 in these drafts is actually a pretty strong value. It's just not great for us, of course, if we see those 3 quarterbacks go in there. Let's move this over. Rodgers off. Yeah, we'll take Taylor. We've talked in depth about why running backs are a little more valuable here in these Superflex drafts on Underdog than they would be in a 1 quarterback draft. And the easy way to put it is in a 1 quarterback draft on Underdog, you're going to be starting 3 to 4 wide receivers each and every week. In a Superflex draft on Underdog, you're going to be starting 2 to 4 wide receivers each and every week. In a 1 quarterback draft on Underdog, you're going to start 2 to 3 running backs. And a Superflex draft on Underdog, you're going to start 2 to 4 running backs. So in general, you want to be bumping wide receivers down, running backs up in these Superflex drafts in comparison to the 1 quarterback ones. Okay. So Medea says, Lance is my quarterback 2 in a lot of these. He better be him, Mason. I will say this with confidence. If Trey Lance is a starting quarterback this next season for 17 weeks, He will have an advance rate much higher. I mean, he will have one of the best advance rates in these tournaments. Based off his rushing upside and his cost, if Lance is a starting quarterback for an NFL team this next season, he's a phenomenal pick with where he goes. Probably the best way to put it. Okay, so Russ goes off 38. Olave goes 39. I'll probably make a pick that surprises y'all here. T-Bond on the clock has Lawrence, CMC, Nick Chubb. They go Waddle. So, yeah, we're going to take... Actually, do we want Ramadre? I actually want Ramadre. Yeah, I want Ramadre Steven. No, do we even want Andrews? No, we will take Ramadre. Stop overthinking it, Mason. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Ramadre Stevenson here, 41. If we were to grab a wide receiver, I would actually take T. Higgins here over Devonta Smith. The reason you'll probably see me take Devonta Smith in some of those one quarterback underdog drafts rather than take T. Higgins here in round 4 is I usually take Devonta Smith there at the end of the second round on underdog in one quarterback drafts because we can get Jalen Hurts on the way back around in round 3 to pair up Smith and Hurts. But if Hurts is already gone here and that's not a possibility, then I actually would rather have T. Higgins over Devonta Smith in a vacuum. Okay. Now Jacobs goes 44. Brees goes 46. I like this team from Versailles. Allen Richardson, Daniel Jones, Brees Hall. Like I said, it kind of hurts us when we were only sitting with Dak Prescott at quarterback, but I mean, you got to give him props. I mean, that is a strong start out the gate. I think they crushed it. Rec loves Ramadre. Jalen says Ramadre is going to do what Jacobs did last year. I'm trying to get more Ramadre Stevenson because I think as it stands right now, Ramadre Stevenson does look like he's going to crush. I'm just a little bit worried about the fact that you still have the veterans in Fournette, Zeke, Hunt all out there where they could possibly bring those guys in. And if that were to happen, I think we get put in a very difficult spot with Ramadre Stevenson. If it doesn't, I think Ramadre Stevenson crushes with where he currently goes. Okay, so we still have quarterbacks falling, right? So I believe the best quarterbacks available right now, according to ADP, are Stafford and Love. What is Versailles going to do? So this is the team that decided to take Brees Hall in the last round. Najee Harris off the board. They go Travis Etienne there at 51. God, I like their team. Allen Richardson, Daniel Jones, then Brees Hall, Travis Etienne. I really like that. Really like that. Alex says, hey, Mason, who can I reach out to at Flock? Tell me with the Underdog promo. Underdog told me to reach out to Flock. Okay, email me, flockfantasy.com. Email fantasyflocknetwork@gmail.com or mason.dodd@flockfantasy.com. So if you are talking about getting our rankings or a free trial to flockfantasy.com, what will happen is once you sign up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, wait about an hour, and then you should have an email sent to you from Underdog Fantasy. It's an automated email, so we'll always go through. But because it's an automated email, it may go to your spam, my friend. So if you're having a hard time finding our rankings or your access to flockfantasy.com for free after you signed up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, check the spam of the email address you signed up to Underdog Fantasy with. Hope that helps. Okay, we're going to take Stafford, pick 56. I think, honestly, it's a very easy decision if you're going to compare him to some of these other wide receivers, such as Keenan Allen going directly after. If you're going to look at the teams that are drafting after us, there's a 0% probability that Matthew Stafford was going to make it back. That team there at pick 12 took Cooper Kupp. This is Cal Rush. They're in the live stream. I'm sure they're not too happy about me sniping them with Matthew Stafford, but they took Cooper Kupp at 13, so you'd imagine that they would have taken Stafford at either 60, 61. That other team in M. Hall only had one quarterback. T-Bond only had one quarterback. Moses only had two quarterbacks. So I think there was a 0% probability of Matthew Stafford making it back around to us at pick 65. And I think a lot of the wide receivers that are in this range are about the same. Alex says, it was in my spam. Laugh my ass off. Thank you. No, all good, my man. I mean, I completely understand. That's why, like in the little promo at the beginning of the videos, when we do like the Underdog ad, like we have it down there in like the little, and I'm not blaming you for not seeing this. I'm just explaining like a lot of people have that same issue. We have like the little explainer there that says, yeah, check your spam if you don't see the email from Underdog. Okay. Now let's move this over. I know who we want. I don't know if they make it to us. And once we take Stafford, obviously we're going to be looking for Rams later on, but we can still get Van Jefferson. We can still grab Tyler Higbee. We can still take Cam Akers. Like, there are still a lot of options for us when we take Stafford here, even without Kupp. Okay, so let's see what happens. T-Bond on the clock. There you go, Kirk. Perfect for us. We are looking for a tight end. We are looking for Hockenson in particular. We have Justin Jefferson, so we're going to get that correlation in here. This could work out a multitude of different ways. One, if the Minnesota Vikings passing offense is just better than expected, this could be a great pick. Two, if Jordan Addison isn't good this next season, if Jordan Addison, quote unquote, bust, which I'm not saying is going to happen, but it's in the range of outcomes, then having Jefferson and Hockenson, they'll both probably crush. So yeah, I'm happy about grabbing Hockenson here at 65. Obviously, if this was a one quarterback draft on Underdog, I'd be panicking right now about our wide receiver situation, but you only have to start 2 wide receivers in these leagues. Okay. Henry says he knew he wanted Hawk. Yes, I did. Okay, let's move this over. So George Kittle goes there at pick 68. I kind of have noticed that in these Superflex drafts that Kittle and Hockenson go close to each other, which obviously in like the one quarterback drafts, they're separated by like 15 picks. This is a little weird. Okay. Rex says, if Hopkins goes to Carolina, Bryce is going to be shooting up my board, as he should, to be honest. If Hopkins goes to Carolina, in that division, do the Panthers have a real shot to actually win it? Like, would they have a real shot? I don't know. Soren says, look at how good the wide receivers the 103 gets after not drafting until the 6th round. He has the best strategy. Yeah, I mean, there, Versaire goes Allen, Richardson, Daniel Jones, Breece Hall, Etienne, and still gets Hopkins there at pick 70. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. So, yeah, it looks like a bunch of people would be in on the Carolina Panthers, possibly being the favorites in their division, obviously with them arguably having the worst division in the NFL, or at least one of them, if they got DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, Akers goes 74. Akers is going to be a target for us at pick 80 if he would have made it. Okay. Let's move this back around. Jesus out here. Happy to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming. Andrew says he's loving our team. Thank you. Thank you. I like our team as well. Robert says Purdy time up. Don't do it to me. Yeah, Brock Purdy off the board, 76. We don't have to take him. We don't have to take him. If you would have made it to us, maybe you could have made an argument. Mason, come on. He's on the thumbnail, my man. But he's off, so we don't even have to entertain it. Okay, so we only have one wide receiver so far. That guy is Jefferson. So, I mean, we can definitely go wide receiver here if they make it to us. Duke says Hopkins should honestly go to New York. I would agree. I think Hopkins should go to the Giants if you're talking about just something making the most sense. But selfishly, with how much Paris Campbell and Wan'Dale Robinson I have, I'm not too interested in that happening. Selfishly, I would probably rather just have DeAndre Hopkins steer clear of the Giants. Now, we'll go Ayuk. We need a wide receiver. He falls significantly past ADP. There's not too much to discuss about it. Stroud goes immediately after. I mean, if no quarterbacks make it back around to us in the 8th round, maybe we made the wrong call. We'll see. Deontay Johnson off the board, 82. Skinny says, does Underdog accept MasterCard? I'd imagine. I know they definitely accept PayPal, and you can do MasterCard through PayPal, so yeah. But Mike coming out with the donation, thank you, says, why do you not want to draft a nice chunk of Brock Purdy to equal out your exposure to Trey Lance? Have you ever heard, my friend, of feelings, human emotion? All right. Trey Lance and I at this point are like this. We're what you would call BFFs, just in case you don't know what that means. That means best friends for life, okay? Trey Lance watches every single one of these live streams. If I were to go through and stab my BFF in the back and start drafting Brock Purdy, I would not be a good friend. I don't know how I would sleep at night. And I don't know why I do that when Lance is going to be the starting quarterback this next season. So, playing next is Bonnie and Clyde. Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Couldn't have said it better myself. But Tommy Knows coming out, member of the flock. Happy to see you as always, my friend. Says, I'm trying this, waiting for receiver in my Chihuahua. We have Lamar, JT, Andrews, Jordan Love, Pickett, Dobbins, Madison. Is that overboard? So, I mean, what are we? First off, love the start there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds in. 7 rounds in and no wide receivers. To be honest with you, I don't think it's overboard. I don't necessarily think it's optimal. Like, I wouldn't recommend you do that in every single draft. But if you're still going to be able to get Michael Pittman, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Hollywood Brown as your wide receiver 1, I think you make it work. Margaret says, so where's the Trey Lance jersey then? So I actually was FaceTiming with Trey Lance last night, and he told me not to buy one off Fanatics. He said to just wait until after week 1, and he's going to autograph his jersey, his game-worn jersey, of course, and send it over to us there. So, yeah, he said don't waste your time getting like a replica jersey or anything like that. He said he's going to get me his week 1 game-worn jersey, which is really nice of him, you know. But, yeah, so it will be a cool addition to the studio. Okay, Rashad White goes off the board, 97. JCM says, Lance traded to New Orleans. Come on, my man. If Trey Lance was traded to the Saints, you think I'd be hearing about it from you in this live stream? No. If Trey Lance was busy, he probably wouldn't be the first one to call me. Maybe his mom would be the first one to call me. But, yeah, I'd be getting a personal phone call before Rappaport knew, before Shefty knew. Yeah, I would already be in the know, my friend. Okay. Obviously, I'm kidding, guys. Obviously, I'm kidding. No. Okay, so Jordan Addison off the board here, 101. So, this is honestly, should we have taken freaking Brandon Ayuk and Michael Pittman? We probably should have taken Stroud over Ayuk, right? At least how it's looking now. There's still a ton of wide receivers that you like the value of here. We'll see. Javonte goes 102. I mean, look at all these wide receivers. This is the exact opposite of a one quarterback draft on Underdog. We'll take Burks. Maybe we'll mix in some Will Levis. Maybe mix in some Ryan Tannehill. I mean, y'all know I got to interview Will Levis at the NFL draft, which is really cool. And honestly, Will Levis is someone that I want to root for as well. Like, Will Levis threw us a bone at the NFL draft. Like, God, Will Levis was nice to us. And that's not a joke either. That's 100% fact. Okay. Rex says, are you going to autograph a suit and send it to Trey in return? Yeah, we're going to do a jersey swap. I'm going to autograph this cheap little suit jacket, send it to Trey Lance, and he will get us back in return his game-worn jersey. Okay. David, happy to see you out here, my friend. Happy to see you. Okay. Zach Charbonnet goes 110. God, these running backs are going. How many running back runs have you seen on Underdog before? So here you have Tony falling about 15 picks past ADP. Quentin Johnston goes 111. Okay, T-Bond on the clock. What are they doing? They go Baker. I don't know what the right thing to do is. I'm going to take Gabe Davis, and we're going to see how this draft goes. You could make a strong argument the right decision here is to go ahead and instead to take Ryan Tannehill. I think maybe we have a little bit more of a unique build, and we go ahead and take Will Levis at the very end of this thing and say what happens if Will Levis is actually the starter this next season. I don't know. I don't know. But quarterback, we have Dak and Stafford. So obviously we're not done at quarterback. We'd love to bring someone else in. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, Treylon Burks, Gabe Davis. Running back, we have JT Ramondre Stevenson. So definitely liking my decision to take Ramondre Stevenson over T. Higgins and Devonta Smith at this point. Tight end, we have TJ Hockenson. So interesting. Now let's move this down. Hopefully Tannehill makes it back around to us at 128. That's always a possibility, right? It's always a possibility Tannehill makes it back and we can stack him with Treylon Burks. But real quick, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. If we hit 600 likes on the stream, we will go ahead and fire up another draft after this one. We stream every single day. I'm not going to miss a single day until 2024. Hell, we've already streamed every single day for over 2 months. I mean, we started in April. So if you want to get into an Underdog draft with us, maybe our next one after this, maybe tomorrow, the next day, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK when you sign up, and they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Get our 2023 fantasy football rankings as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com when you use promo code FLOCK with a link in the live chat description. Available in damn near every state. You can pause the screen, see if it's available in your state right there. Okay. Now we have Zay Flowers, Elijah Moore. So sadly, Tannehill does go at 122, so we're not going to get Tannehill. Okay. Clutch Cali. I think this is, perfect. I wonder who won Superflex tournaments last year. I'm guessing it's someone who had Geno, Jacobs, etc. Yeah, so in some of the Superflex tournaments that Underdog had last year, Geno was going like 20th round / undrafted. Like, it's crazy to look back at what was actually happening. We'll go Damian Harris. F it. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine I did not win any Superflex tournaments last year. I don't even think I made the finals of any Superflex tournaments last year on Underdog. I would say it's probably the worst tournaments that we did. I would imagine it's a team that took Geno Smith, right? Because if you got Geno Smith in round 20, like, I don't know how the rest of the field could even compete with you. Okay. Let's move this down. Penny, Khalil Herbert, Elijah Mitchell, all off the board. So honestly, we probably should have taken Damien Harris there. And yeah, even Devon Achane gone. So we're going to get a wide receiver on the way back around here at 137. So definitely the right call to take Damien Harris. Let's see what happens. I like our team. I don't love our team. I think our team would have been much better, right, if we would have had one of those quarterbacks we were looking at fall to us. Or honestly, if we would have just taken... Yeah, our team would have been so much better if we would have drafted C.J. Stroud over Brandon Ayuk. I don't know if that's like a lesson we can take forward. I don't know if we should have planned on that. I don't know if that's my fault or if we got unlucky. Probably my fault, right? Okay. Ross says the Fields and Geno Smith teams dominated. Yeah. Okay, Zay Jones goes. So we're going to take Tyler Boyd. Not too much to discuss. Boyd makes it 10 picks past ADP. I mean, tight ends here aren't going to move the needle too much for me. So we'll take Tyler Boyd. Maybe we should have thought about it a little more. Maybe we should have tried to convince ourselves to take a tight end. I don't know. So far, wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Ayuk, Pittman, Burks, Gabe Davis, Tyler Boyd. Quarterback, we have Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford. Tight end, we have Hockenson. Running back, we have Taylor, Ramadre, Damian Harris. So, honestly, I don't really want any more wide receivers. Gallup's in play since we have Dak. Van Jefferson's in play since we have Stafford. But outside of those guys, I probably don't want any more wide receivers in this team when we already have so damn many. So, hopefully we'll see some more go. We'll see. Okay. Silver, yes, this was a Superflex draft. And Clutch Cow says 600 likes for another draft. Yes, sir, 600 likes, and we'll fire up another draft after this one. I think we're about 100 away. Okay. Nolan says, Hurts had a crazy advance rate, but was absent from playoff weeks, so Superflex playoffs were kind of funky. Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember sweating out any Superflex. I don't even think I had any Superflex teams come close to winning last year, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, like, a little bit of a blur, but we were primarily sweating out because we did really well in those high-stakes tournaments. Like, pretty much, we had, like, a crazy advance rate with the big dog. We had, like, both our $500 teams advanced, and they made it, like, multiple weeks. So, right now, I'm thinking that we did not do well at all in the Superflex drafts last year. I'm thinking that we didn't come close to having a sweat, but maybe I was just looking at those other ones. I don't know. Probably we just did horribly. Okay. So let's swing this back around. So Gallup will probably be available to us. If we want to go ahead and take Gallup and pair him up with Dak. Rondale Moore off the board 147. Jalen Warren goes 148. Kobe Short says, what was the max entrance in the $250 tournament last year? I don't know. I ran out of money before we could get there, my friend. So we did not max enter the big dog last season. Maybe we'll max enter this year. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. I'm a little paranoid just because I think that we're probably going to like come back down to earth a ton. I'm thinking I'm going to lose this season. It's like what I want to avoid is like winning a bunch of money last year and then thinking, oh, okay, I can double the amount of money I'm spending on these leagues. I don't want to do that just because I think the pendulum's probably going to swing in the other direction. I got very lucky last season. I think it's a decent shot. I'm unlucky this next year. Okay. So let's move this over. So we have Dak, Stafford, 1756. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Ayuk, Pittman, Burks, Gabe Davis, Tyler Boyd, Michael Gallup. Running back, we have Taylor Ramadre, Damian Harris. Tight end, we have Hockenson. So I like the team. Probably done drafting wide receiver. Sean, welcome to being a flocker, my man. Super happy to have you. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, that is awesome. Love to see it. Love to see it, my man. Thank you so much. Now, Condre Miller off the board here, 154. Tyler Algier goes 155. Okay. Brian telling us he's going to win this year, so save your money. Yeah. I'm telling you, this year I think it's harder than last year. Like, I am worried. Okay. Couple different options on what we could be looking to do here. So, would have been really nice to have Tyler Higbee make it back to round to us at 161. That we could have paired up Higbee with Stafford. I think here we'll go Roschon Johnson before the running backs completely fall off. I think there's a good shot we get Levis on the way back around. I know nobody likes Levis. We're the team that has Treylon Burks. So let's go Roschon before there are literally just no running backs to look at. Siobhan says, which tournament is this? This is going to be the Chihuahua Butt Superflex. It's going to be on the homepage, not the NFL page. Now, Silverspace says, I've never done a Superflex one. Are these only Best Ball Mania 4 entries? So, no. Okay, so here's what this is, everybody. So, obviously, on Underdog, go to the homepage, see the tournaments. Obviously, you have like the baseball tournaments, the golf tournaments. I'm not going to really care about those. Here's what we're looking at. Best Ball Mania, 1 quarterback. The Chihuahua Butt Superflex is a Superflex. And then Almation 2, this is like a higher stakes tournament, but I've already maxed that out. You can only have 3 entries there. So, yeah, this is the Chihuahua Butt Superflex, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move this back around. So we are wanting Will Levis. We're wanting Will Levis here. Okay. Kobe says, do you think first place in the $250 tournament could be $1 million? I would hope not, right? If they really wanted to make it, they could, but I'd rather it be like a flatter payout structure. I mean, if it was going to be like $1 million for first place in like the $250 big dog tournament this year on Underdog, I would imagine that means like half the prize pool is going to like the top 5 places. And I wouldn't want that. So yeah, last year it was $100,000 for first place in that $250 tournament. This year, hopefully it's something, it will be something larger just because there's so many freaking people on Underdog. Like these tournaments fill up immediately. But I'd imagine it's probably going to be like 200, 250. It could be, of course, I'm an idiot. I could be wrong, my friend. I don't know. Okay. Now, Jonathan Mingo goes 173. Yeah, so I think there's a shot we get Levis to pair up with Treylon Burks here. Okay. Deonta Foreman off the board at 174. Jay Peasy on the clock. They have no Titans, so I'd probably be a little surprised to see a Levis pick. Okay, what's going on here? What are they doing? They go Tyquan Thornton, so we're going to take Levis. Obviously, Levis is most likely going to be nothing. But I don't know. I don't know, right? I think what we may do, I know y'all tried to talk me out of it last time, but I think we may go Colt McCoy in the last round. I think we waited long enough to go ahead and build around 4 QBs here. Well, I understand a lot of people are saying that Clayton Tune can be the guy in Arizona. Realistically, I don't know how likely that actually is. I mean, Clayton Tune, at the end of the day, this is a quarterback that was drafted in the 5th round. He's 24 years old. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So Dawson Knox is 182. We still need tight ends. Okay, while we bring up the name Colt McCoy, ADP 211. For us taking a little bit, Colt McCoy goes immediately off the board. That's great. We could go Tajee Spears as the pass catcher in Tennessee and maybe just build around this Tennessee Titans offense. Could you go Juwan Johnson because we need a tight end? So I think we're definitely going to be looking at these two guys. We'll get whoever falls. Now that both of them fall, we'll go Spears because we're going to have to take 3 tight ends no matter what. And if we're looking at quarterbacks, yeah, Mike White, I think people are, I don't know. I could easily be wrong, but I just feel like people are overreacting to the injury risk that Tua actually is. Like, I don't know how much of a risk Tua actually is. So I don't know. I would honestly probably take a different quarterback and like go past ADP a little bit and try to grab someone that nobody's drafting. Like if I was going to take a quarterback here at the very end, maybe we go through and take someone like Bailey Zappi, right? Pair him up with Ramondre Stevenson and say, okay, well, if something happens to Mac Jones, whether or not Mac Jones is injured, whether or not Mac Jones just gets benched for Bailey Zappi, then we could be looking at someone in this tournament that nobody has, which could be interesting. Russian Collusion says, sorry, Mason Abner in the queue. Completely fine, my friend. Completely fine. Rex says, Huntley in case Lamar's out again. Is Tyler Huntley really still the backup in Baltimore? You would think that they would realize, oh, okay, yeah, we probably should go ahead and, yeah, Tyler Huntley, they haven't done anything with their quarterback depth chart. Despite how much time Lamar misses. I would have thought that they should have gone ahead and like pulled what Dallas did a few years back by just grabbing like someone like Andy Dalton as a backup, right? I don't know. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Fournette goes. Okay, so I don't even know what we need. I probably don't want to take another wide receiver. I mean, hell, it's 2 to 4. Running backs are 2 to 4 as well. Conklin goes. So we're going to take Jeff Wilson and say, who the hell knows? Yeah, we'll go Jeff Wilson here at 200. I mean, with Wilson, not someone that I've drafted a lot just because we've talked at length about the very real possibility that you have one of those veteran running backs going over to Miami, but I don't know. I feel like here at this price point, obviously there's a chance that a veteran running back doesn't go to the Miami Dolphins. So where Jeff Wilson was going a month ago, probably not a good price, right? But here I feel like people are kind of understanding that Wilson's not someone to go all in on. I don't know. I feel like it's fine price. Okay. Darnold goes 202. I definitely would not have taken Darnold's. Okay, so Pierre Strong goes 203. Honestly, now that I think about it, Hopkins going to Carolina would really hurt us. We have a lot of DJ Chark. I have a lot of Hayden Hurst. It would not be a good situation at all if DeAndre Hopkins went to Carolina. Jeremy says, you did see the Dolphins made an offer to Dalvin Cook today, right? I did not see that. Let me see. That will help us a lot, considering the fact that we've drafted pretty much no Miami Dolphins running backs. And since Dalvin Cook's been cut and we've actually had him at a discount, we've drafted a lot of Dalvin. Okay, yeah, I guess they have officially made an offer. Okay, exciting. We're going to go Hayden Hurst here. I think Bryce Young will probably be good. I think there, as of today, there's no alpha there in Carolina. So let's take Hayden Hurst there at 2-9, and I don't know. Send up a prayer that Hopkins doesn't go, because I'm taking a lot of Hayden Hurst in this range. And I just think that you have a shot for Bryce Young to be good, right? It's very real that Bryce Young could be good, and he has no weapons. Okay. Jeep guy says, gonna make the wife dinner. Have a good night, Mason. No, have a good night, my friend. Have a good dinner. And if you haven't already left, I would have liked to know what you were having for dinner. But nonetheless, thank you for always coming out. Okay, so we have Zamir White, Ty Chandler off, 212, 213. Renfro goes, what? I just don't even know what we want. Okay. Do we mix in another QB? If we do, who would we even take? I wouldn't want White. I wouldn't want Trask because they are drafted pretty much every single time. If we try to get a little unique, I actually would probably rather even take Minshew. Ooh, I know what we're doing. Okay, Robert Woods off the board. We definitely need another tight end, of course. I mean, we're sitting here with Hockenson, Hayden Hurst. This is a 20-round draft, so I mean, I'm fine taking another tight end. Tight end can slide into our flex spot. Hopefully, it will never happen, but they could slide into our super flex. Okay. Robert Woods off the board, 220. Jake Ferguson, 221. Definitely sucks for us. Obviously, we are looking to get Jake Ferguson on the way back around here if we can. Considering the fact that we have Dak Prescott, set ourselves up with a double stack. For Dak, have Ferguson, Gallup, Dak, which would have been a little unique. At least I want to convince myself it would have. Okay, so Noah Fant off to 22. Let's just take a tight end, and then we're going to grab a quarterback. We're going to take a unique option here. We're going to go way down past ADP, and we're going to be taking Marcus Mariota. Actually, had this called out in the live chat on either a live stream or a video. I don't know. One of y'all gave me this idea of going through and taking Marcus Mariota as a unique pick in the 20th round in a lot of these drafts, just considering the fact that if you were to have Jalen Hurts going down, Mariota does have rushing upside. He does have some phenomenal weapons in his offense, and he probably could put up a lot of fantasy points. So I don't mind the idea at all to go ahead and make a unique pick there. But I think that's all we have for this stream. It looks like we are not hitting 600 likes, but nonetheless, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. And as always, I'm going to do this literally every single day. I mean, for the rest of 2023, to be honest with you. So if you haven't already, subscribe. And if you want to get in our next draft, go down there, use promo code FLOCK with the link in the live chat. Sign up for Underdog. They'll match your first deposit, dollar for dollar, up 200. Get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really appreciate you. Really hope you have a great night, and really hope that we get to see you with the live stream tomorrow.